Hey everyone, so I was watching the Colbert Report a few days back, which by the way I think is probably one of the best TV shows on at the moment, and he had Dan Savage on as a guest. I'll leave a link to the interview in the below bar. I don't think you'll be able to watch it if you're outside the US, but if you've spent any length of time on the internet, I'm sure you'll find a way to circumvent that, shall we say. Now, for those of you who don't know who Dan Savage is, he is a sex columnist, and he started the It Gets Better project. I think a lot of us have if not participated in, at least heard of that initiative in this little corner of this website. Anyway, he was talking about marriage and monogamy and how he isn't monogamous with his husband, and he was talking about the reasoning behind it, and I found myself agreeing with him. Straight people have defined what their marriages are for a long time now, and if gay people are allowed to get married in certain places anyway, they should also be allowed to define what kind of marriages suits their individual preferences. Now, when it comes to talking about an issue such as this, then you're going to get a lot of backlash. People with traditional values are going to be up in arms talking about the destruction of marriage and blah blah blah. I'm sure you've all heard the arguments. But I have to say, if we're talking about the destruction of marriage, then straight people ruined marriage a long time before gay people even would have had the chance to. As long as there has been marriage, there has always been adultery. I mean, it's one of the bloody 10 Commandments. That's how long it's been going on for. Heterosexuals have been defiling marriages for centuries, taking it away from its original purpose to suit the society and the morality at the time. Whether it's the implementation of divorce or allowing interracial couples to marry, and even the new struggle, which is having homosexuals being allowed to marry. So let's not blame the gays for something that's been taking place ever since couples could be joined together. I think this is a good time to talk about this as well. Over the last 10 years or so, I think attitudes towards open relationships have become more accepted, so it's only a matter of time really before it moves on to marriage. We have to accept people are different. We can't all fit into one box, and so to try and put people in that box when they're married is not fair to them or the person that they're marrying. Marriage can still be the foundation, but now that we're living in a more liberal times, couples can and should be able to branch off and have the kind of marriage that they want without shame or stigma. For some couples, being monogamous is not very important in their marriages. They assign higher values to other aspects of their coupling, just as couples who think that having kids is of no interest to them, or couples who don't want any pets. There shouldn't be any kind of special onus on sex, as if that's something that's inherently tied to marriage. It's just another archaic relic that should have left the public consciousness long ago. Go and tell all the people who have mistresses, one-night stands, and even other wives how important fidelity is to them. And that's what I'm talking about. Monogamy isn't possible for some people. Sex is obviously a high priority for them, and that's fine, but cheating is not the way to go. And of course, I'm not saying here that monogamy is dead. Just that it shouldn't be the deciding factor for everyone, because not everybody wants to be monogamous. Honesty is very important here. I would say that you should have a talk with your partner before any kind of serious commitment is reached. To me, honesty should be the backbone of any lasting relationships. So be truthful about your wants and your needs. Respect your partner enough to ask them what you really want out of your marriage or partnership. Because some people just can't be with one person, or if they can, they will just be unhappy, and they don't have to be, and they shouldn't have to be. Now, I'm not saying cheat. I completely abhor cheating. It's really one of the worst things you can do. But again, have this conversation beforehand so as to avoid any sort of big argument later on if mistakes are made. Everybody has a right to be happy. If you feel like you can't be in a monogamous marriage and your partner can't accept that, then maybe it's time to move on. You will both be happier in the long run. Anyway, it's better now before you commit in a way that you just won't be able to, and feelings get hurt down the road. My relationship with my fiance is monogamous. It's the relationship I want, and in the future it's the marriage that I want. I don't want any other sexual partners but her, and she feels the same way about me. We are both happy being only with each other. We entered our relationship knowing that this is what we want, so I'm not against monogamy. Just that the important qualities of a marriage should be up to each individual couple, and that if they want to have other sexual partners, that's okay, and it's no better or worse than any other marriage. Marriage, for most people anyway, is more of a legal contract that signifies a special kind of commitment that brings with it a lot of benefits. It doesn't have to be monogamous. I think the fact that cheating on your wife or husband isn't illegal shows that, at least not in most countries anyway. Marriage can be a starting point. but you can move off and explore different aspects of life and love. Your view of marriage can really be as subjective as love. If people can love different people in different ways, as most of us can attest, then who's to say that you can't love your husband or wife and you be both sexually involved with other people? The simple fact of the matter is that a marriage between two consenting adults should be able to encompass any kind of area they want it to, whether it be other partners, submissive or dominant, or whether one person stays at home and the other person gets a job. It should all be discussed before you enter into a marriage, just like whether you both want kids or not. If you don't agree on a point and neither of you are willing to compromise, then I would take a serious look about whether or not you will last. I think divorce is a horrible thing. It's horrible for the people going through it, and especially if you have kids. So really, having talks before any kind of important impasse is reached is really probably one of the best things you can ever do, even if you break up because of it. I think if we started having more open discussions about these sort of topics, then divorce will decrease and people will be in happier relationships. Anyway, I'd really be interested in what people think about this topic. I think it would be a good springboard into a good discussion. So comments or video responses are always welcome. Do you agree with what I say? Do you disagree? Do you have anything to add? Do you think I'm missing something? Let's get the ball rolling, shall we? I'd like to hear from as many different people as possible. So if you have anything you feel like you can contribute, then please feel free. Until then, I'll see you next time. Cheerio.